Hey crafters, are you ready to make a floating holiday card? Let's do this. The first thing you're gonna need is just grab you an A2 card. And I wanna remind you, all the measurements are gonna be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com. Click on my blog and they'll be there waiting for you. So we're gonna take this card and we're gonna bring out our trimmer and we are just going to trim it down just a little bit. Now we are going to put the front flap in and we're going to cut it at 2 3/4. Now that will give us exactly what we need on the top, but don't throw this part away because we want to cut it down to size. So go ahead and keep it in your trimmer and let's cut it down to 1 1/4. Now we have our top and we have our bottom. You can use this for another card, right? Because we keep our scraps. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and cut our mats for the top and the bottom. But before we do that, I want to show you the stamp sets that we're going to be working with. These are so cute. We are going to use our snowflakes. And we're going to use Greetings of the Season, this absolutely beautiful one right here. Oh, it says, may your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration. It is so pretty. What you need to do is keep this so that it doesn't move as you're doing your two images that are going to keep this together. But before we do that, let's go ahead and lay down our mats. Now we're going to double mat and look what we've done. We have used an embossing folder with snowflakes and we are using the color Coastal Cabana. Isn't that pretty? Doesn't it just give you a sense of a snowy day? I think it does. So we are going to bring in our tape runner and our silicone mat, and I'm just going to put some tape on the back of this strip. Now we're going to add it right here. And we're going to take this strip and get it added. Now what's so great about this design is you can use any occasion, right? We are using Christmas, but oh my goodness, just think of the possibilities. Now, we are going to put one more mat on our card. And look at this. You can use anything that you have, but we found some little silver dots in our stash, and so we are going to use that. Just going to put some tape. Run that right in the center. And you won't be able to see much of the snowflakes, but just enough to where it doesn't look flat. We like to emboss our mats because typically they look very flat. They're just like this, you know, flat. But when you emboss them, look at the difference. It just gives them a dimension, doesn't it? So let's add this. And now we are ready to work with our images that's going to connect this top and bottom. Now this will move around a lot and you want it to stay, so you need to grab some repositional tape. And this is some great tape. You can use any tape you want. You can buy this in different places. But I'm just going to put a little mark right there and it will rub off, but just so that it holds it in the right place on my card. Now, I went ahead and I took the stamps from this. Look at that. Look at those beautiful snowflakes. And I stamped them. Now, I will say I used my stamping tool because I wanted it to be nice and dark. And I used Coastal Cabana. Now, if you don't have a stamping tool, this is what it's like. You just put your image on this side and it holds your cardstock down. And I have a sticky pad in there, and this is really great. Love this stamping tool. That will be listed in the supplies if you want to know where you can pick it up. Now, let me give you another tip. I was wanting to use these snowflakes, but you see, it's too short. So we came up with the idea of connecting them, and then we can connect these two pieces because we need this one to hang on, right? So if your image is too small, not to worry, go ahead and just connect them together. Now we're going to add this on dimensionals right here and then right here, and we're going to connect right here, right between the two snowflakes with a tape runner. Just add some tape to it. Now I'm just going to stick this about right there. And this one needs to connect, so we'll put him right there. So I need to put my dimensionals right at the bottom. Now, before I put this down right here, I can see that I need to put some tape right here. You don't want to glue it to this, so be very careful of where you put your tape. Just going to put it right on the edge right here. And look at that, so far, look how pretty that is. Now remember, we put a piece of repositional tape. Now you can just get that up, you can open it, and if you find any sticky on there, just rub it off. This repositional tape comes off very easily. Okay. Now that's not all we're going to do to connect this so that it stays in the right place. We also used our stamp set that I showed you to cut out this beautiful message. Look at that, so pretty. And we are going to connect that right here at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to just set it down. So I'm just going to put some tape using my tape runner right at the top and right at the bottom. And that's why I use this silicone mat, because that way I can rub the tape runner off and not worry about getting my workspace dirty. So let's just go ahead and add that. And look at that. But we're not through. Now, in that set, it also has some cutouts. Look at these cute little snowflakes. How cute are they? So we're just going to add one right here. We're just going to connect it. That'll give us even a stronger hold on this little branch right there. And then I created some additional ones just to give it some more interest. So we're going to add them right like this. Look at that. How cute is that? So let's just go ahead and add some tape on the back. Now make sure you stay with us because I have 2 more cards to show you. Okay. And look how pretty that is. Look at that. It opens up perfectly. We love this card. Now, I'm also going to show you how to make this a little more stable. So you need to stick around for that tip as well. But let's put that to the side and let's create our other card. So our next card that we're going to create, we are using a couple stamp sets. We're going to use these beautiful lamp shades, the pine cones, the ribbon, and the ferns. Oh my goodness. And then we're going to use some sentiments, and we're going to use the dies from this stamp set to work with this paper. And it is so beautiful. It's vellum. Can you see that? You can see through it. It is so pretty. And the dies from that bundle, well, they cut out those leaves. We love that. So now remember, you take your base card and you go ahead and you cut it at 2 3/4, which cuts this off. And then you take that piece and you cut it down to 1.5 by 5.5, and it's going to go right here at the bottom. But now remember, we like to double mat things to give it some strength, and so we just went ahead and we cut 2 pieces of white paper, and then we found this paper. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? And we're just going to add that right onto our white paper. So let's do that. And look how pretty that's going to look. Now on this one, we are going to put a piece of paper on the inside. So let's just go ahead and get that laid down. Now we are going to stamp those beautiful images that I told you about. We're going to bring in our lampshades and we're going to stamp using Night of Navy. And this is a distinctive stamp set, so it kind of gives you shading when you stamp it. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at that. How pretty is that? Now, I want to show you how to stamp these beautiful pine cones. And we are going to use espresso and pecan pie. So we're going to do the pecan pie first. We're going to do the background. And it comes in 2 stamps just like this. Oh, I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite stamps. So you just stamp it. And now we are going to bring in the definition. We're going to use our early espresso. We're going to use the other stamp that will stamp that for us. And you just have to make sure it's turned the same way. So the fat part is on the bottom. Now look at that. Look at the definition. Isn't that pretty? We went ahead and we cut out some of those beautiful vellum leaves. Look at that. We cut out our little bows, and we also used that stamp set to cut out some little candles. We stamped it in red on the bottom part and then used our dauber to stamp the Daffodil Delight for the light part. Okay. So we are ready to start putting this together. Now remember, we want to use our repositional tape. You can just put one little bit right there. Hold it down. Gonna get it right where we want it. And then we're going to just start building. Now what we've done is we have these leaves right here. So we're going to build a base first. We're just going to use our tape and put this down, just like that. And it won't matter what it looks like because we're going to set our lanterns on top of it. Now we have this other leaf that we're going to bring in right at the bottom. Now we have our 2 lanterns cut out, but we have to color them before we put them on. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's bring in some paper. And what I want to do is just very lightly, just give this a glow. So I'm bringing in lemon lolly. I'm bringing in a little blending tool, just a very small one, because I want there just to be a very light shadow right here, because that's where my candle's going to go. So we're just going to make this glow just a little bit right to the inside. And you see that just gives it a little glow. Look at that. Now we're going to do the same thing to our little short one. Just a little glow. Now we are going to just think about where we're going to put this. Going to attach it. Now look what I did. Here's another tip. You see the top of that lantern? I went ahead and I used a hole punch, and I just punched the hole out to make it look more realistic. And now we're going to set this one up on some dimensionals just like this. Look how pretty that looks. So I need to put a few dimensionals right here on the bottom. And before I put that on, I'm going to bring in these leaves that we cut. So let's go ahead and get them glued down. Now we're going to add the bows that we did. And now we can go in and we can add this last little branch right here. Let's set our pine cones up. And now all we have to do is add our beautiful sentiment right there. And we have stamped Merry Christmas. And we used very vanilla just to give it that old kind of look. And we're just going to add it right there up on some dimensionals. And another tip, when you have your dimensionals, whatever you're using, make sure you use all the dimensionals, even the part like this. Use it all. That's what I did right here on this sentiment. And look at this. Look at how pretty this is. And it stays together. Here are the two cards that we made today. What do you think about this design? Take a moment and let us know. Monty and I enjoy reading your comments so much and just appreciate you. And if you want to support our channel, we sure would love it if you take a moment right now and just subscribe and share with your friends. That means so much to us. Now, let's look at the other cards. And remember, I told you that I was going to share a way to even make this more stable in case you're worried that it's not as strong as it needs to be. But it does stand up perfectly on your desk. Look at how pretty that is. What we did on this one is we put a piece of acetate on the back. Now, that really makes it strong and sturdy, stands up perfectly. You don't have to worry about this wobbling at all. And if this glue bothers you, go ahead and just put your mat right here on the back. And that just brings it all together. So that's a great tip. Add your acetate to give it more strength. And finally, we have one more card to show you. Look at this one. Oh my goodness. We used the stamp bundle that had these cute little critters. These Christmas trees are just gorgeous. We also added some glitter to the trees. And this is very strong because it has those 3 large images on it. So as you're going about thinking of making this card, you want to keep your images kind of large, or use a piece of acetate to give it the strength that you think it might need. So take a moment, leave a comment. We sure would love to read your comments. Well, Monty and I hope that you were inspired by this design. There are so many possibilities. Until next time, Monty and I hope your days are filled with creative moments, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.